Hello, and welcome to Algebra. Today we're going to learn distributive property equations. All right, equation reminders. Remember, we want to isolate the variable. We want to get that variable all by itself. First, we want to do that by getting rid of parentheses, and we get rid of parentheses by using the distributive property. And that's what we're going to be learning today. All right, and second, we can combine like terms if there's anything to combine. And we're going to probably do that next class. All right, and then finally, we use inverse operations to solve. All right, let's review. Let's review distributive property. So distributive property, we take the number on the outside of the parentheses and we multiply it to everything on the inside of the parentheses. So that 3x, if I do, or that 3, I'm going to times it to the x, and I'm going to times it to that minus 2. 3 times x is 3x. 3 times minus 2 is minus 6. All right, let's look at the one below it. I have a negative there, and when there's no number, there's really a 1 there. They just don't write that. So really, it's negative 1. So I'm going to take that negative 1 and times it to everything on the inside. Negative 1 times 1 is negative 1. Negative 1 times negative x is a positive x. All right, well, we're going to rewrite this because we always want our variable term to go first. So I'm going to rewrite that as x minus 1. This and this mean the exact same thing. We just want to put our variable term first. And that was positive, so that's why I didn't put anything in front of that x. And then this was a negative 1, so it makes it a minus 1. All right, so pause the video. See if you can do these distributive problems on your own. Unpause it when you're done to check your work. All right, hopefully you paused the video and hopefully you got these answers and hopefully you got them correct. All right, so remember distributive property, we take the number on the outside and we multiply it to everything on the inside of the parentheses, and that is how we get rid of those parentheses, which is our first step when we're solving equations. We always want to get rid of those parentheses. Okay, so it's important to know the distributive property. If you need help with the distributive property, you can go back and watch the video notes from Unit 1 on distributive property, and that will help you a lot. Okay, all right, so let's go on to solving some equations with distributive property. All right, so this first equation here, I took this 1/4 on the outside and I times it to everything on the inside, and that gave me 1/4 x minus 1. All right, so then I see this is a minus 1, so I have to get rid of that. I have to do the inverse operation. Well, the inverse of minus 1 would be plus 1, right? And whatever I do to one side, I have to do to the other side. And I do that so I can cancel out that negative 1 on this side and leave me with just 1/4 x. And on my right side, I have negative 6 plus 1, which will give me negative 5. All right, so I have a fraction in front of my variable here. So to get rid of a fraction, I have to times it by the reciprocal. And the reciprocal means I just flip the fraction. So I'm going to times it by 4/1 to get rid of it and leave me with just x. And I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. Negative 5 times 4 is negative 20. Negative 20 divided by 1 is negative 20. So x equals negative 20. All right, on my next example here, I have 9, 2. I don't know why it's so much bigger than the parentheses, but it is. But I'm going to take that, the 9/2, and I'm going to distribute it to everything on the inside. So 9 halves times x would give me 9/2x. 9 halves times 3 would give me 9 times 3 is 27/2. All right, and that equals 27. All right, so now I have to get rid of this thing without the variable first. I see it's a plus 27/2, so I'm going to do a minus 27/2 to get rid of it on this side and leave me with 9/2x. And I'm going to do the same thing to this side. All right, 27 minus 27.5, well, that's going to give me 27.5. Because if I take away half of 27, I'm going to get half of 27. All right, so I have a fraction in front of my variable. I have to get rid of that fraction. I'm going to times it by the reciprocal. And the reason we do that is 2/9 times 9/2 gives me 1, and that's what I want. I want 1x. That's my whole goal, right? All right, so I got to do the same thing to the other side. All right, I'm doing 27/2 times 2/9. I see that when I'm multiplying, I have a 2 on the bottom and a 2 on the top, so those kind of cancel out. And that's going to leave me with 27/9, and 27/9 I can reduce because 27 divided by 9 will give me 3. So that is x equals 3. All right, let's do one more. Let's do this one here. Let's see, 4, I'm going to distribute it to everything on the inside. 4 times 3 would give me 12. And then 4 times minus 6 is going to give me minus 24. And that has an a, so I'm going to put an a next to it. And then that equals 36. All right, so I want to get a by itself. That's my whole goal. So I want to get rid of this thing that's not with the a, this 12. And I look in front and I see it's a positive 12. Well, the opposite of a positive 12 is a minus 12. And I'm going to get rid of it by doing that. And that's going to leave me with negative 24a on my left side. On my right side, I got to do the exact same thing to keep it equal. So I'm going to do minus 12 on this side. 36 minus 12 is 24. So I have negative 24a equals 24. So now I have to get rid of this negative 24. Well, when a number is next to a variable, that means multiply. So I want to divide by negative 24, divide by negative 24 to get rid of that and leave me with just a. And I'm going to do the same thing to the other side. And 24 divided by negative 24 is negative 1. So a equals negative 1. All right? All right, so that's how we do distributive property equations. All right, so the best thing about equations is that you can always check your work and see if you're right. So if I use Desmos, and I'm going to type in this right here, I'm going to type in 4 parentheses 3 minus 6, and we said a equals negative 1, right? So I'm going to plug in negative 1 for a, and then close my parentheses for that, and I see I got 36, and that is what they wanted it to equal. So I know I got this one correct. Ding, ding, we got it right. Negative 1 is the correct answer. So you can always check your work using Desmos, and you can check it really quickly with that. All right, so let's try this one over here, this 1/4 one. I'm going to type it in, 1/4, and then I see parentheses, and then I see x equals negative 20. So I'm going to take away the x, and I'm going to plug in negative 20 in parentheses. And then I see it says minus 4, close parentheses. And that says negative 6. This wanted it to equal negative 6, so I know we got it right. Ding, ding, got it right. Okay? So equations are always awesome because you can check your work and know right away if you got it right or wrong. If you plugged it in and didn't get what it wanted to equal, we know we got it wrong. If we plug it in and it gives us what they wanted it to equal, then we know we got it right. So equations are really good in that aspect. All right, go ahead, try these ones on your own. Remember this one, even though the number's on the end, it doesn't matter. We can still do distributive property this way. All right, this one right here, this is a negative, right? So really that's a negative 1 that we're distributing. Okay, those are some reminders. All right, so go ahead, try those 3 on your own, see how you do. All right, if you ever have any questions, please ask a teacher. I'll check you next time when you're learning about some algebra.